Beauty. Well, welcome, Zach, and welcome Northern Suburbs members, supporters, fans, and sponsors. We thought we'd take this opportunity whilst we're in this extended week of lockdown to just have a chat and give you a little bit of an update on where the season might be heading, and from Zach's point of view, what the boys are up to. So, welcome, Zach. Not quite the red and black radio, but here we are again to check in. How good?
Good to see you, mate. Miss seeing your head in the office every day. And look, we're certainly not sitting in the grandstands in North Sydney Oval filming this, but yeah, look, great to sort of check in with our members and supporters and make sure everyone's safe and doing the right things at home. And hopefully this doesn't last too much longer.
So first and foremost, obviously, we'll just touch on the front end of the year. We've had such a good start. Obviously, 8 wins from 8 games, and then two little hiccups before the lockdown period. If you looked at that at the start of the year, would you have taken it?
Yeah, look, I think I said to someone the other day, like, no one wins anything in June, but yeah, I mean, I'm a realist. We had a good start to the year. However, there's a lot that we can improve on. This has come at quite a good time in terms of a period of reflection, in that sense, in trying to look at it with a positive spin. We played some great rugby, both in attack and D, but we've got a hell of a lot more growth in us as a group. So, for us as a coaching group and a playing group, that's the most exciting thing.
And this 2-week shutdown that's turned into a 3-week shutdown. We've spoken a number of times over Zoom or over the telephone. Just give the sponsors, give the North members and fans a bit of an insight into what it looks like from your point of view and the players' point of view at the moment.
Yeah, so we reacted pretty quickly, when the news came out, and I think the benefit of in a funny sense of having this experience last year has served us well. Had a bit of a draft sort of plan if hypothetically something like this happened, and it wasn't so far-fetched, because the cases were still coming. It's become reality now. So we reacted pretty quickly, and yeah, I mean, from what we've done is we've just rolled our plan out. So firstly, we made sure all the guys are safe and and healthy and happy and secure in that sense, in terms of work and accommodation, all that sort of stuff. Then we rolled out and sort of split the top squad in 5 different mini teams. Before the lockdown, the captain of each mini team. So you got Sam Kitchen, Hugh Sinclair, Harry Bury, Angus Sinclair, and Brad Hemelpo. The 5 of them are captains of a mini team, 7 or 8 guys. And then we put out a session plan, or 3 session plans a week that they've got to complete individually. They've got to check back into their team captain, and we catch up on Zoom weekly to assess, and it's become bloody competitive. They've come up with their own sort of niche team names and ideas, and Kitch's Kittens won last week. They came out on top. Don't ask me why they're called that. But yeah, the guys have to film their videos. I mean, we dropped off the GPSs to each of the guys, and they upload that data to their computer. It all goes to Gab, so we can keep an eye on how they're doing from that perspective. But mate, up here, the mental aspect is just as important, so that's why we do our weekly Zooms anyway. Checking from that perspective, and then there's a hell of a load of analysis and stuff that we're doing as well in this time.
Yeah, the mental clarity is obviously important, and so too is the community aspect and checking in with each other. You posted something out to the playing group, which was quite good. Do you want to touch on what you've reframed the lockdown as?
Yeah, I mean, and through the grades, 3s are doing something with Chris McCarley as well, and the 4s group are doing different type of challenges, probably not as intense as the guys in 1s and 2s, but they're having some fun as well. Benny Malloy's running a good sort of lockdown program there, but I just thought, reframing our thinking. All the connotations around this period is, you got lockdown, isolation, quarantine. And they're pretty negative connotations. They're incredibly serious, but I thought if we can reframe our thinking around this period, and we've called it a cocoon, so it's not like you're hibernating or you've hit pause. In a cocoon, you come out the other side different and evolved. So I've sort of challenged the club and in particular, the playing group of how can we come out of this, better, stronger, more evolved. And mate, it's not just on the field, I've been having one-on-one Zooms, which is fantastic. Like players reaching out, wanting feedback, and we share clips of their games and stuff. And a lot of the guys are getting into mindfulness now. In this period, a couple have booked in to donate blood, which is great, in giving back to the community, and really challenging ourselves as a coaching group as well. Watching Northern Hemisphere rugby and different competitions around the world, how can we come out with evolve? So yeah, cocoon, another sort of left field idea I've put out to the playing group, but the boys have bought right into it and seem to like the idea.
No, that's important. And as I said, I know you've been doing plenty of work in the background, and the playing group's really bought in. So, look, we're super hopeful that all being well, we may be looking at a game on the 31st of July. But that's a little bit of blue sky thinking, and fingers crossed we'll be back at North Sydney Oval very, very soon. Now, you were preparing for Randwick at the time. This week would have seen us preparing for Sydney Uni. All reports sort of indicate that we will go back to round 11 and continue and play the season out as it was. Given you've got a little bit more time to look and review and preview those games, has it changed any of your thinking to maybe what it was a month ago?
No, I think you can. You could send yourself crazy if you're thinking, what are they going to bring out differently? But every team has a unique profile in this comp. As do we. We do a fair bit of preview on the opposition, but a lot of the stuff is about us. So rather than looking at, we have spent a hell of a lot of time in this period sort of looking at every team in the comp and what they've done and what they may potentially do. But this period's been about evolving us as much as possible. If anything, and hopefully if the cocoon serves its purpose, we're going to come out with a little bit more evolution to our attack and D. Might have a few more ideas than we would have pre this period, coming up against Randwick. Then we got the bye. Then we're in a Sydney Uni. And
players, we saw 3 players against Warringah in our last game come off with a couple of little injuries, particularly around the head. Can you give us an update on those? And can you give us a little bit of an update on the new prop that we debuted against Warringah?
Yeah. Look, thankfully, Gussie Sinclair, Harry Bury, and German Haifelli all have passed their concussion protocols over the last couple of weeks. That we take that incredibly seriously, and want to make sure that the guys are fine before coming back to play. And this period's probably given them a good break, so they'll all be back. Huey Sinclair's also he had a bit of a back issue, so that's healed. He'll be back fine. James Turner as well, and Jack Hayson were both with the Aussie Sevens Oceania team for that Randwick game, so they'll all be back. And Apolosi Ranawala, who's he's come across as a mid-season sort of transfer from Warringah. Incredibly, dedicated, committed guy. He just reached out to me during the season and said, look, he obviously they had a fair bit of depth over there with props and was keen to get involved. And mate, the boys have just welcomed him with open arms, and I think he fits in like a glove. Like, his work ethic's so strong. He's desperately keen to get better and get to that next level. And I mean, he came in off the bench against the Rats, probably one of the strongest scrums in the comp, and won a couple of tight heads. And I think he's fitted in really well. The boys and I and the coaching group are glad to have him part of the family now.
And all being well, the lockdown ends Friday the 16th. We're back on the field, hopefully 2 weeks after. What does the 2 weeks training look like into a game after a month off?
Yeah, probably similar to what we did, last 2020, because we had that 2 week period leading into one trial, and then we have round one. So, it's part of the conditioning that the boys have been given is also contact conditioning. You can't do contact, so there's some creative ways that Gav, with his crazy thinking that he's come up with to keep the boys doing contact using the ground or using other things. So. We'll roll into. Firstly, we'll assess where everyone's at. They'll all probably be, hopefully, at decent enough levels. But we'll program that fortnight, to gradually sort of accelerate their return to play, leading into that game against Randwick.
Fantastic. Look, I'm sure everyone out there in the North community is absolutely chomping at the bit to get back to North Sydney Oval. I know you are. I know the players are. I certainly am. Zach, it's been terrific to get a little bit of an update. Any final message to the members before hopefully we evolve from our Cocoon?
Yeah. Look, guys, just I hope everyone's staying safe and well in this time. It's a challenging time for people and families. Physically, as we've spoken about, but mentally, but can also be financially as well. So I hope everyone's sticking in there with true Shoreman spirit. I know as a team we aim to inspire you guys and give you a bit of a break from your day-to-day lives. We can't wait to be back doing that, but part of a club is you got a community around you. So if anyone's doing it tough, reach out to anyone in the club, and I'm sure myself and the coaches and the players will get around you, and we can't wait to see you all back at North Sydney Oval when we're back on.
Fingers crossed, and keep an eye on the website for all the updates as when they come out. Thanks, Zach. We'll see you soon, mate.
Pleasure, mate. See you guys. Thanks, Jack.